We drove Trinidad's iconic North Coast Road from Arima to Maracas Beach on New Year's Day. The plan? A peaceful drive to reconnect with a place we've loved for years. What we got was, well, let me show you. The night before, we'd been at my brother-in-law's place, watching fireworks explode across the valley. Everywhere you looked, just bursts of light and color. It was magical. But the next morning, I woke up wanting something different. Something just for the four of us. Years ago, before my wife and I got married, we'd drive the North Coast Road all the time. Sometimes to Asa Wright, sometimes to Maracas, sometimes to Blanchiseuses, sometimes just to drive it. Years later, when our kids were still babies, we'd take them to Asa Wright Nature Centre. There we'd watch all the hummingbirds and butterflies and all types of nature for hours. We wanted to recreate that, to share it with them now that they're older, even though they don't even remember those first trips. So New Year's Day morning around 8:30, we loaded up in a car with one simple plan: drive the North Coast Road. Now, before anyone comes for me in the comment section, yes, I know that officially the North Coast Road runs from the Pillars in Maraval to La Follette. But most Trinis, when they talk about the North Coast Road, they also consider the Blanchiseuses and Old Arima Road basically the same thing. Now, we don't actually live in Arima. We're closer to Valsayn, but Arima is where the North Coast Road starts for us. Now, our plan was solid. Get to Arima early, grab some doubles, then head to Asa Wright to be among the first visitors of the day. There was just one tiny problem that I didn't consider. It's New Year's Day. Everything is closed. Not a doubles man in sight. And the Asa Wright Nature Centre, that was closed too. And on a side note, we found out later that even if we had gotten in, we'd have to pay. It wasn't that long ago. You can just simply drive up into Asa Wright and enjoy the pools and everything that they provided, including the wildlife, for free. Now you have to make reservations online or call first before coming. And they literally have to buzz you in first. Do you know what? We still had the road and we still had Maracas at the end of it. So we decided to keep driving. Now, driving in Trinidad definitely takes a certain kind of courage. There's a rhythm to it. You're constantly weaving from one side of the road to the other, dodging potholes while oncoming traffic does the exact same thing, all while trying not to hit you in the process. This is even more extreme the further away from urban areas you go. Out here, sometimes even whole sections of the road can be washed away or blocked by some fallen tree or other obstruction. Like I said, not for the faint of heart. But despite these hazards, you still feel blessed to see these beautiful mountain vistas and glimpses of the ocean through the trees. And then you round a corner and you're rewarded with this Las Lapas lookout. It's a small, privately maintained area where suddenly the entire northern range opens up before you. It's not as well known as the Paramin lookout, but the views here are spectacular. After taking a stretch and a quick look around, we put a few dollars in the donation box and went on our way. Every couple miles, we'll stop and turn off the engine and we'd hear them. Birds everywhere. We'd hear them squabbling in the trees and flying over us. We also saw butterflies dancing across the roads, some of them as big as your palm. There were also these little waterfalls with handmade bamboo spigots where you could, in theory, take a sip if you were feeling adventurous. All these sights and sounds is what we came for, so we almost forgot that we were starving. We tried stopping at a couple of the little villages in the area, but either they were closed or the food didn't look too appetizing. But soon we came to Maracas Beach. This was the most crowded I've ever seen Maracas. We normally only go during the week, or if we did go on the weekend, super early to avoid any crowds. So we're used to it being semi-secluded, maybe 20 to 50 people tops spread across the entire beach. But today there were hundreds of people, wall to wall, all the way to the surf line. Yeah, nah, we're not going in the water today. The kids used the facilities. We got the mandatory bacon shark, which by the way is absolutely worth the trip on its own. And then we left. We'll come back another time when we can actually see the sand. The last time we took this drive with our kids, they were still very young. They don't remember seeing those beautiful blue butterflies or the raucous kiskidees on aura pendulas or the small waterfalls on the sides of the road or the pure joy of leaving the hustle and bustle behind and seeing nature in its finest. But I hope after this trip they will. So before I go, if you're thinking about doing the same drive, here's what you need to know. We prefer going during the weekdays when traffic is minimal. Early morning is ideal. You get better light, fewer cars, and the wildlife is more active. Also, expect rough road conditions. I'm talking no asphalt in some sections, just bare rock. Flash floods can wash out the road entirely. Make sure you check the weather report and find out the road conditions before you go. Also, make sure that your car is in at least decent condition and start out with a full tank of gas. A fully charged phone is also a must. And don't forget to bring water and snacks, especially if you're going with the kids. And just take your time time. And remember, the journey is the destination here. So that's our North Coast Road adventure. Have any of you ever been on this road before? And if so, what were your thoughts about it? Also, we're trying to develop better content for our viewers. So if there's any topics that you'd like us to cover or any suggestions to help improve our channel, let us know in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.